What is up, guys, and welcome to another edition of Market Marauders, beating the market one trade at a time. For your Market Marauders investment channel, helps you to find the best deals in the market. That's something you're interested in. Make sure that thumbs up and subscribe. Definitely helps the YouTube algorithm promote the videos. All right, so I'll be giving you my options watch list for this week. So let's jump into it. First one, we got ticker sign KMX for CarMax. They ended the week at $99.23. So they ended at 98.25. After hours went up 98 cents to end at 99.23. This week they did touch $100.44. They are bullish, determined by the moving average 10 line being above moving average 50 and 100, which is purple and yellow line. If you're new to the channel, that's the way I determine if a stock is bullish or bearish. So just bear that in mind. Those are my indicators for a bearish or bullish movement. So background information on them. They do have an earnings coming up. So this is one of the press releases from their website. It came out on the 8th. So it says on the 22nd, which is going to be Tuesday, they're going to be hosting a conference call with investors at 9 a.m. So if you're new to earnings or you're new to investing in general, these are all public forums where you can go listen to the information that different people in management, like the CEO, CFO, investor relations, they give out all this information about the stock, about their moving forward, financial information, all good information to help you make a more informed decision on whether you should or should not invest into the stock. Now, this is for educational purposes. I'm not telling you what to invest in or what to not invest in. I'm just giving you pointers to show you how to do some due diligence to find the right picks for you. If you like to have financial information, make sure you contact a licensed and certified CPA. All right, so going into the option side of Webull, this is Webull. If you'd like to sign up and get 4 free stocks, I have a link for that down below in the description. So, going to be looking at an expiration of April 16th, 2021. So that's going to put it around the Q2 session or time frame. So I think, if we push this out a little bit, it'll give us a little wiggle room for this to actually execute. But I think a call, which is the left-hand side, the bid, which is buying. So I think buying a call between $100 to $110 strike price, or even $120 strike price, is a good option. I think the used car market is on fire right now. I think a lot of people are buying used cars opposed to buying brand new vehicles. I also think a lot of people are converting over to electric vehicles as well. So I think in general, people are, getting better vehicles, and they're also, going and switching over to electric vehicles. So I think that market in general is booming. So at the time of this video, you're going to be looking to pay between $680 to $150 per contract of this stock. All right, so before I go to the next one, I want to do a shout out of Sus Clothing Company. So this is my clothing company. Make sure you go check it out. The link's in the description down below. We got some new items up on here, so make sure you go check those out. Link down below in the description. Also, if you'd like to learn more about options, you'd like to join a private group where we have members who talk about different stocks, make sure you join the Patreon group as well. A lot of good information given out on there. Also, some daily watch lists are given as well. So if you want to dive into the whole stock market and be immersed in more information, make sure you join the group. We would love to have you. All right, so next we have ticker sign NKE for Nike. Now they fell from 141.22 down to this level about 137.56 or 137.28 is what this is showing. So they fell down significantly, but they had a dead cat bounce, which if you're not familiar, it's a financial term, which means it's kind of self-explanatory, where the stock is really high and it falls and it bounces back up. But this dead cat bounce of theirs seemed to make the stock very bullish. So it was a very big bounce. So if we look on here, it looks like they were selling off quite a bit. But if we look at the after hours, it actually went up $6.92 to end at $144.20. And this 144.20 metric is actually above where this 141.22 metric was. So in my opinion, I think it was just an oversold. People just rebalancing their portfolio, and it was an oversold moment. And I think a lot of investors who are waiting to get into Nike saw this as an opportunity to buy, and they essentially bought the dip. So, when the stock goes down, it's actually a good opportunity to jump in and get the shares for cheap, because people may have an overreaction to something they read, something they think is going on. If we see the market is still open, so this number is changing. I think going to be looking at them for an early morning mover on Monday when the market is back open. Going background information on them, they did have earnings that came out, which helps the volatility of the stock, which means these are some of the catalysts for why the stock is moving and why it's sold off so much and why people are buying back in. So their second quarter reported revenues were $11.2 billion. They were up 9% compared to a prior year of up 7% on currency neutral basis, driven by growth across all geographies. Led by Greater China, reported revenue growth of 24%. Nike direct sales were $4.3 billion, up 32% on a reported basis, and up 30% on currency neutral basis with double-digit growth across all geographies. Nike brand digital sales increased 84%, or 80% on currency neutral basis, with triple-digit growth in North America and double-digit increase in EMEA and Greater China and APLA. Diluted earnings per share for the quarter was 78 cents, up 11%, and inventories declined 2% versus the prior year, have returned to healthy levels globally. So they increased their stock. They have more items. They're back to normal levels items-wise, and they're increasing the amount of money that they've made year over year. So I think overall Nike is doing really well financially from their portfolio. I think one thing that is definitely helping the company, in my opinion, is sports being back around. That was kind of one of the factors that I haven't really seen many investors talk about as far as analyzing the Nike stock. Sports plays a huge part into actually marketing Nike brands and Nike products. So when you have like someone like LeBron, or you have MLB teams, or you have different sports in general going on, they have products that they endorse that are all or mainly Nike products. So when you have different sports teams playing, you have the games that took place in the bubble. It's all marketing things that help to build this brand of Nike. Another one is, Drake had a music video where it was basically at the Nike factory, Nike outlet. I looked at that as just a giant Nike commercial, so it definitely helped Nike as well. So Nike is very good at strategically placing themselves in pop culture, as well as staying relevant as a brand. And I think that's a huge advantage that they have over a lot of other companies. So some people may say, why would Nike pay certain athletes or certain celebrities millions of dollars? Because they'll definitely make that back as far as being relevant as a brand. So I think Nike is very good marketing in that regard, and I think they'll continue to grow as time goes on. Going into the option side of Nike, we're going to type in ticker sign NKE, and we're going to try to go with they don't have April, so we're going to go with March 19th to put this in the quarter two time frame. And I think we can say, since it ended at 144 or is at 144.22, I think if we say between 150 to 160, since this is going to be considered in the money once the market opens, I think between this 150 to 160 is a more realistic value to reach by this March deadline. Even though you may say, it's going to be there pretty soon, I like to give enough time for this to actually execute so theta decay does not attack this option. So between 150 to 160, you're going to be looking to pay between $475 to $165 per option. Also bear in mind, this is when the market is closed, so this is what's factored in is the 137.28. The 144.28 is not factored into this price, so this price will definitely change. Like I said before, the two options that if this gets before the market completely closes to 150, 145, then both of these will be considered in the money, and these three options will be considered still out of the money. The prices will change and they'll be a little more expensive, but I don't think drastically too more expensive than where they currently are at. So just bear that in mind. These are based when the market is closed. Next, we have Tesla. So Tesla kind of had a boomerang effect today. It went down really fast and it went back up. And then it seems, it's going down after hours. I think, in my personal opinion, people are going to be selling off, but it's not, in my opinion, individual investors who are selling off the Tesla stock. I think it's institutions who are rebalancing their portfolios and selling off and taking profits. So if you look at an institution like ARK Invest, ran by Cathie Woods, they were, gung ho or talking about Tesla for an extremely long time. Back when it was $500 a share before they had their reverse split, and they were able to get in, or if you were invested then, you were able to get in a really cheap, and it basically has gone back to that price, but doubled essentially. So there are a lot of people who are sitting on those profits, who are waiting to jump back in for a better time to jump back in. But when a stock is added to the S&P 500, it is completely different performing than a stock that's not in the S&P 500. For instance, when a stock gets to the S&P 500, you have, hedge funds and large portfolios that are going to be eyeballing this stock. So that doesn't mean that they're going to be instantly just dumping all their money into it, but it definitely is going to be on the radar as a more serious investment for the long term for a lot of these investors. So Tesla, to me, has been looked at for a long time as like the millennial stock. It's definitely the stock I've made the most money on, but it's definitely been looked at as like the millennial stock. Like, only young people invest in Tesla, these electric cars, and it's only because they're CEO. But now, once it gets put into the S&P 500, I think it becomes more of a serious contender, and definitely is going to be looked at for, a lot of hedge funds adding it and restructuring. I think, with people like Jim Cramer, who seems to be very in tune with how younger investors invest, with people like that, as well as, more other older investors starting to see, the point of view of a lot of younger investors, then I think, that will help the company continue to go up. But I think it's still going to be a learning curve for, a lot of the old analysts on how these new EV stocks and EV companies, will actually perform in the long run. So, a lot of millennial investors, we're younger people. So putting money down on something, there's a whole Wall Street Bets group about, talking about YOLO calls and putting all your money on stuff. But I feel like people really do that. So I think for the older investors, it kind of is hesitant, or people are hesitant to, put something on a stock that's so volatile, where people, Elon Musk, goes and, smokes, and then the stock goes down, something like that, where the stock is so volatile that anything can sway the stock. But going into the S&P 500, I think kind of is the barrier, or the, I guess, leveling of the playing field for the stock. So I'm definitely interested to see how it performs once it's put in, which is going to be, going to this article, it's going to be on the 21st, which is going to be Monday. So on Monday, it's going to be in the SP 500. So from that point on, I think a lot of older investors are going to be looking at the stock for a potential move. Now, if they deem that it's worthy to be put into their portfolios, then I think we're going to see a huge move forward for the stock, and I definitely could see it getting back to $1,000 a share. But for the time being, I think it's going to be, people are going to be sitting back and analyzing it to see, how it will perform and what the actual financials are. A lot of people do, are not just like YOLO investors. They do a lot of research on the stock, a lot of look into the financials, a lot of outlook in the future, which is what everybody should be doing. But a lot of people don't do that. So, I definitely think once that is determined by these hedge funds or by these large institutions that do investing, that we'll definitely see a boom in the Tesla price. For now, I think it's going to be a 2 or 3 day or maybe even 4 day sell off. And then potentially, as the new year begins, we could see those hedge funds restructuring and rebalancing their portfolios, and then seeing, Tesla start to rise again to that $1,000 price where I think it'll be able to go. All that being said, going into the option side, we'll look at Tesla. Let's see if they got an April one. Nope. So we're going to go with March. So on here, it says between $700 to $780 per option. I think, I would start off with the 780 one right here, and probably the 760. This stock moves very fast, so it's not unreasonable to see it get to these levels. I think a call is probably the best option. Now on here, there are currently no calls for the $740 strike price, and there's only one for the $760 strike price, and that one is at $2, and the next one is at $4,500. So, I don't know how accurate this currently is at the moment, but I would say double check back on this and look at it when the market opens, and you could potentially be able to lock in a pretty good deal on this, especially considering in March. By then, everybody should have their portfolios restructured, and it'll be Q2. So I think definitely could see the stock reach that price, especially as fast as Tesla itself moves. Now going to the last one on here, we have ticker sign CRWD for Crowdstrike. They ended the day at $203.75. Then after hours, gone up 76 cents to end at $204.51. They are bullish at the time of this video, denoted by the moving average 10 line being above moving average 50 and 100. So that's a very good metric. VWAP is also significantly high, so a lot of people are buying this, jumping into the stock. So going to background information on them, we can see that Crowdstrike Services Cyber Frontline reports reveals widespread remote work has broad-reaching effect on cybersecurity. So the report that they did reveals 68% of organizations that fell victim to an antitrust experienced an additional in-trust attempt, and traditional antivirus solution failed, and 40% of observed incidents. So basically, Crowdstrike is a cloud solutions company that helps companies, large institutions with cybersecurity, which is very paramount, for organizations. So I think they're definitely, leading the way, in my opinion, helping expose a lot of gaps that a lot of companies have, which is a very important thing. They're a newer company, so a lot of people are kind of putting them in the, I guess, millennial type of companies, or the young people investing companies. They don't really have a large track record as far as being, out there on the exchange. So they're fairly new, in my opinion. But I think what they're doing is very needed, as security, cybersecurity will always be needed, in my opinion. I think a company that does a good job in helping institutions and organizations with their cybersecurity, I think, will be here forever, in my opinion. So I think the company can really only go up from here, especially if they're continuing to do this good amount of due diligence as far as finding gaps in companies to help them increase their cybersecurity. So with that being said, going into the option side for Crowdstrike, gonna look for the April one. So yep, they got one in April. So we're gonna do the 21st. And I think between the 210 and 260, in my opinion, this whole range is a reasonable range for the company to be at. So if you jump in at the time of this video, you'll be looking to pay between $2,440 per contract to $1,005 per contract. So bear in mind, this is when the market is closed, so it will not be the same when it's open. All right, so those are the stocks. We got CarMax, Nike, Tesla, and Crowdstrike. Make sure you go check out the Sus clothing brand with these new clothes we have out, new merch, links in the description, as well as join the Patreon group if you'd like to learn more about stocks and you'd like to join a community of investors. We'll be glad to have you. Also, if you want to join Webull, get 4 free stocks when you deposit $100 or more. I have a link down below in the description where you can do that as well. And make sure you hit that thumbs up button to help the YouTube algorithm promote the videos. All right, good luck to everybody out there trading. Hope everybody has a good holiday season, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.